Hello guys. So today we are going to discuss one question related to DC-DC converter. So basically we will look at reverse recovery loss of the diode in this video, and we will see one question which is a very fundamental question. Maybe some of you might be knowing the answer to this question, but maybe the root cause of that question might not be knowing. So we will have a look at about the reverse recovery loss of the diode and in which mode of the DC-DC converter it happens. So whether it happens in CCM mode or DCM mode. So CCM is basically continuous conduction mode and DCM is basically discontinuous conduction mode. Okay. So to answer this question, so first of all we will see what is diode, and then we will see what happens when we forward bias the diode, and then we will see what happens when we suddenly apply the reverse voltage to the already forward biased diode, and then we will characterize and do some power loss calculation for the reverse recovery loss phenomena, and then we will analyze one DC-DC converter example, let's say buck, and we will analyze CCM and DCM mode, and then we will see why it happens and in which mode happens. Okay, so let's go. We'll start. So first of all we will see what is diode. Okay, so diode is basically a PN junction, right? So I will use here black marker. So it has one junction formed by the P-type material and N-type material, right? So P-type material has holes and N-type material has electrons, right? Now at junction we have the depletion layer, which is formed by the movement of the electrons from N side to P side and from P side to N side. This is because when the junction is formed, so electrons which are near to the junction or holes which are near to the junction, they are affected by the attraction forces because they are very near to the junction. So holes near to junction experience the attractive force from the electrons, and similarly electrons from this experience the attractive force from the P side holes which are near to the junction. So as a result, electrons from this side move to the P side, and because of this lack of electrons near to junction, there is a positive charge, so it has holes, and similarly we have electrons here. So this is a depletion region. Okay, so basically this is a diode. So we will see what happens when we forward bias the diode. So forward biasing the diode means connecting the positive terminal of the supply voltage to the P side and negative terminal to the N side. So this is the polarity of the external supply voltage for forward biasing the diode. So now when we forward bias the diode, so the electric field which is set up by this external voltage source, so it is through these conducting wires. So it is from this positive terminal, then through this conducting wire, then through this PN junction diode, and back to the negative terminal. So this is the direction of the electric field which is set up by the external supply voltage source. Now if you see the electric field direction inside depletion layer, so it is in this direction, right? Because electric field always starts at positive charge and ends at negative charge. So here positive charge are at this side, negative charge is at this side. So basically it is in this direction. So if you compare these two electric fields by external supply voltage and by depletion layer, so they are opposing to each other, right? So now when we apply a certain voltage VDC which is greater than threshold voltage, this is the knee point or turn on voltage of the diode. So it is approximately 0.7 for silicon and 0.3 for germanium diodes. So when we apply greater than threshold voltage, current starts to increase, the diode forward current. Okay. Now when the voltage, the applied external voltage is higher than threshold voltage, the depletion, the width of the depletion layer is reduced, right? So because now this the electric field which is set up by the depletion layer, it is very negligible, and it is vanished by the electric field which is set up by the external supply voltage. Now for sake of simplicity, I will remove this depletion region, as it is minimized by application of the external supply voltage. Okay. Now if you see, when diode is forward biased, so this is a positive terminal of the battery, and these are the holes, so they have the same polarity, right? Now because of this, the holes inside the p-type material, so they experience the repellent force, so they move in this direction, right? So similarly, electrons from the n-side material, so they experience the repellent force because of the negative terminal of the battery, and they experience the repellent force and they move in this direction. Okay. So now because of this, if we take any instantaneous time when diode is conducting, so holes are basically holes travels from p region to n region, and similarly the electrons from n region travel to the p region. And now when the, let's say, holes are traveling from p region to n region, so they recombine with the electrons which are present at the n side material. Now there will be some vacancy, because already holes have traveled from p side to n side there. So this vacancy is filled by the this supply voltage by providing the extra holes. Similarly, electrons travel from here to here and they recombine, and vacancy is filled by the negative terminal of the battery. So if we see the conventional current direction, so this is a conventional current direction, because we consider a movement of the positive charge, as holes are moving from p side to n side. So this is a conventional current direction. So at any instant of time when diode is forward biased and diode is conducting, so there are some charges, it sounds strange, but n side material, so n type of material has holes and p type material has electrons, because of the repellent force which is developed by the external supply voltage, right? So now we will see what happens when we suddenly reverse bias the this forward conducting diode. Now when we say reverse bias, so we reverse the polarity. So first I will just remove this. Okay, so I will apply the reverse bias. So now this is a negative terminal and this is a positive terminal. So we know that when diode is reverse biased, so there is no current flow, right? So now the charges which are already gone to the holes which have already crossed the junction and which have traveled to this side, right, to the n side, and the electrons which have crossed the junction and which have come to the p side, they have to come back to their original position. These electrons have to go back to their n side, as they are the majority carriers at n side, right? And these holes, they have to come back to their original place, which is the p side. So this holes has to move in this direction. I will use different marker. So holes has to move in this direction, and electrons has to move in this direction. So this is electron and this is holes. So now if we see conventional current direction, which is the positive, so current has to flow in this direction. So earlier when diode was forward biased, so this was the current direction, right? Conventional current direction. But now conventional current direction has to be like this to move the trapped charges, which are so positive holes are trapped inside N type and electrons are trapped inside P type. So these are trapped charges, they have to move back to their original place. So reverse current has to flow, and that is an instantaneous, or it is for a small amount of time, because once they are back to their original position, there is no requirement of reverse current, so it reaches to zero again. Okay, so that is the reason why reverse recovery current or reverse recovery phenomena happens. So there are two conditions basically. First is diode has to forward biased, and there has to be some current that is flowing through diode before reverse biasing. And then second condition is so earlier the past condition is diode was forward biased, and now second because of second condition, which is applying the reverse bias voltage, and these two conditions are met, then there is a reverse recovery phenomena and reverse recovery loss which will happen inside a diode. Okay, so that is a root cause behind the to move the trapped charges back to their original position. So these holes from N side material to P side, and these electrons from P side to N side, right? So current has to flow in this direction. Holes has to move from this direction to this. So this is the reverse current, which is the reverse recovery current. I hope you got the point. If you have any queries regarding that, you can mention in the comments. I will answer to those queries. Okay, so this is the root cause. We will now characterize or we will see waveform what happens when suddenly a diode is reverse biased. Okay, so I will just plot a current waveform through diode. Sorry for bad drawing, I'm not good at drawing. Okay. So this is the current waveform of the diode when it is reverse bias. So let's say at t is equal to 0, we apply a sudden reverse voltage, and earlier before t is equal to 0 it was conducting in forward region. So that's why, so this is a time axis and this is ID. So for time t less than 0, the current was positive, it means diode was forward biased, and suddenly it is reverse biased, and that's why a reverse current flows. So as I explained, opposite to the forward current, so that's why it has a negative polarity. So current reaches to peak from 0 to peak, and then peak to 0, because diode is reverse biased. So finally it has to reach to 0 current. So ideally it is not, practically it is not 0, ideally it is 0, but reverse saturation current that will be in nanoampere or microampere, that will flow, but it will be close to 0. So here there are two time segments basically. So we will consider from when current starts from 0 to its peak value. So this is a TA, and when current starts from minus peak value to the 0 value, so this is TB. Okay, and this is the peak value, which is minus IRM. Okay, this flows to move the trapped charges back to their original position. Okay, now if we see in diode datasheet, there is a term given which is the reverse recovery time, TRR, which is the addition of TA plus TB. So this is the whole time, which is the reverse recovery time. Okay, now this we have seen the current waveform across the diode. Now we will see also the how the voltage across the diode looks when it is suddenly reverse biased. So now, so for this duration, so I will just extend the time segments. So this is a VD, this is a time axis. So because of inertia, when diode is suddenly reverse biased, so for time duration TA, the voltage across it remains the VF, which was the earlier voltage. Because here the diode current is positive, so diode is in forward conduction mode. So here earlier there was a reverse, there was a forward voltage drop which is denoted by VF, which is around 0.7 volt. So this is a positive, right? So it remains at VF for time duration TA, and then it drops to VRM, which is the applied reverse voltage. Okay, so this is a VRM. Okay, so this is a minus VRM, which so after TA, time duration TA, it drops to minus VRM and it stays at VRM for until the diode is forward biased again. So this is the graph or graphical picture of the diode reverse recovery loss. Okay, now we will see. Now if you see here, the overlap, basically the diode power loss which is happening because of reverse recovery loss. So for TA, if you see, the current is from, let's say, 0 to minus IRM, and voltage across the diode is VF, which is around 0.7. So if you see here multiplication of these two, V into I, instantaneous power, so it will be less because it is multiplied by VF, which is less. But here during time TB, it will not be less, it will be significant amount, and that will be more contributing factor to the reverse recovery power loss in the diode. So again, in some of the diode data sheet, there is one term mentioned or defined, which is the softness factor. So softness factor is defined as S and it is ratio of TB by TA. Okay. So if you compare two diodes, let's say, and higher the S means higher is TB, right? So higher is TB means we have higher loss, because in TB, as we explained earlier, so during time TB only there is a power, the voltage across the diode is high, which is the applied reverse voltage, and there is also significant amount of current. Okay, and that's why that also defines what is the hard switching diodes and soft switching diodes. So hard switching diodes means they have higher TB, and soft switching means they have less TB. So basically there is an interrelation between S and TRR, right? So S is ratio of TB by TA, and TRR is basically TA plus TB. So we can derive interrelation between S and TRR. So yeah, so that is the graphical picture of the reverse recovery. Now we will analyze the power loss that is happening inside a diode because of this phenomena. So I will erase this part. Now we will analyze these two. So this is the current ID, and TRR is defined as TA plus TB. Okay, I guess this part is not visible, that's why I wrote down here. So I have written down here the TRR is TA plus TB, right? So now we will see the calculation for the power loss. Okay, now we will divide the time segment into two, as so first of all, first step is 0 to TA. Okay, now we can assume, or we can consider that this is a straight line, okay, with a slope. We can calculate that slope and we can write down the diode current equation. So we can write ID of t is equal to, so it is a straight line as I defined, 0 to TA, so it has a slope of minus IRM divided by TA into T. So that is a straight line equation, because if we put here t is equal to 0, then we will get ID of t is equal to 0. So this is this point. Then if we put t is equal to TA, then this will cancel out and we will get minus IRM. So I will just write down neatly. So yeah, so this is the equation, and VD of t, which is the diode voltage for this duration, it is constant at VF. Okay, now if we analyze for the energy lost during this time, ED underscore TA is integration of 0 to TA ID of t into VD of t, right? So it is integration of 0 to TA minus IRM into VF upon TA into T dt. So here I forgot to mention dt. Yeah. So here ID is put down and VD of T is put down, which is VF. Okay. So now if you solve this, so you will get. So these are basically a constant terms, right? And T is the only variable. And if you solve this, so I will not solve this because it will take some time, even though it is less, but you can calculate that. It is just a mathematical steps. So you will get IRM into VF into TA divided by 2. Okay. So this is the equation for the energy lost in the diode during time TA. Now we will analyze same for time duration TA to TB. Okay. Now for this, again we can analyze this situation by considering this is a straight line, which has certain slope. So it has points like so starting point at minus IRM, corresponding time is TA, ending point is TA plus TB or TRR, and 0 current, right? So ID of T IRM upon TB into T minus TA plus TB, or this is the TRR term because TA plus TB is TRR term, right? So now if we put T is equal to TA, then we will get minus IRM. This is which is this point, right? Now if we put T is equal to TA plus TB, which is this point, then we will get ID of T is equal to 0. So this is the correct equation, right? So now, and VD of T during this time, it is VRM, which is the applied voltage, negative voltage, right? Now as energy lost during TB is equal to integration of VD of T into ID of T, right? So it will be integration from TA to TRR. So TRR is again TA plus TB into IRM into TB into VRM T minus TA plus TB dt. So this is the constant term. So this is the only integration term. So we can evaluate that and we will get ED underscore TB is equal to VRM into IRM into TB divided by 2. Okay. So this is the energy lost during time TB. Now if we want to calculate the overall loss, energy lost in the diode during time TRR or during time reverse recovery time, so it is addition of these two. So E total is equal to addition of these two, right? So I will take common term outside, IRM divided by 2 into VRM into TB plus VF into TA, right? So this is the final equation of the energy lost. Now if we see here in this equation, so this is the correct equation, but we can approximate by doing like we know VF is around 0.7 or for Schottky diodes it is even less, so we can ignore that because this term will be less. So we can write down equation like E total is equal to IRM divided by 2 into VRM into TB. Okay, so this is the final equation. Now if you see DC-DC converter, so this energy loss will be happening at each PWM cycle. Whenever the diode is for reverse biased, so it will be happening at each PWM cycle, right? So we will average it out. So over the one time period, so P average inside diode, it will be IRM into VRM into TB upon 2 into TSW, which is the switching period, right? So we can substitute for 1 upon TSW as FSW, which is the switching frequency. So IRM into VRM divided by 2 into TB into FSW. So this is the energy lost, average energy lost inside a diode, right? Because of the reverse recovery phenomena. So this is the final equation. So you need to understand this equation. Okay. So now, so I will just erase this part because this equation is important for us as of now. So I will erase this part. So now we will see, and there is again another term that is mentioned in diode datasheet, which is the reverse recovery charge. So reverse recovery charge is basically area enclosed by this current waveform, because when we integrate the current waveform over the time period, so it gives a charge because it is multiplication of I into T. So if we see this area, so it is basically a QRR, which is defined in the datasheet, diode datasheet. This is a reverse recovery charge. Okay, and we will see how it will be calculated. Now if we already have approximated that these are the two straight lines, right? So here I will draw that triangle again. So this is a triangle, this is a 90 degree, this is the peak, which is the IRM, and the base of this triangle is TRR, right? If you compare these two. Now we know that the integration is basically area under curve. So if we see for this time duration, and if you calculate the area will be 1 by 2 into height, which is IRM, into base, which is TRR, and this area is basically a QRR because area enclosed by the current waveform gives you charge. So QRR is equal to 1 by 2 IRM into TRR. Now in many data sheet QRR is given, TRR is given. We can calculate IRM from this. So it is basically 2 into QRR upon TRR, right? We can substitute this in the first equation that we derived. So P average becomes, so I will substitute for IRM 2 into QRR upon TRR into 2 into VRM into TV into FSW, right? Now 2 cancels out. So final equation for this average power dissipation becomes QRR into VRM into TV into FSW upon TRR, right? So this is the final equation. So I have seen many application notes from the supplier where they assume just TV is equal to TRR, or they are almost equal. They just assume it and they just cancel this term out and they just use the final term as QRR into VRM into FSW. So I will write down that equation also. So it will be like, so I will just reduce this box. So it will be like QRR into VRM into FSW. But here we are actually over calculating it, because TB is always less than TRR, because TB is just part of whole TRR, right? So we are here overestimate because TB is always less, so this ratio is always less than 1. So this will give you accurate result, but this will give you higher result. So this will be a good approach for calculation of the diode power loss. So in diode data sheet, maybe this TRR is given, but softness factor is not given, which is defined by ratio of TB by TA. So you can approach the manufacturer or semiconductor supplier and you can get this data, softness factor, and again you can calculate from that TB, because TRR you already know. And yeah, so that's how you can calculate the average power dissipation inside the diode, which is happening because of this reverse recovery phenomena. One thing again that I would like to mention is the reverse recovery current or reverse recovery loss. So this basically is function of, so basically if we consider this IRM, so it is function of, or TRR, it is function of the diode forward current which was flowing earlier, then the di by dt rate, which is at which slope the diode current is falling, and the applied reverse voltage. Okay, so I will just erase this part, so maybe I will get, I hope this derivation is clear, and you can either use this equation, this will give you accurate result, or you can use this equation, so there will be slight difference in both the results. Okay, so what I was saying is the TRR, which is the reverse recovery time, it is function of the diode current, forward current, which was flowing. So this was the past current which was flowing through diode before reverse biasing the diode, and di by dt, the current at which it is falling. Okay, then temperature, then applied reverse voltage. So if you open any diode data sheet, it is the TRR is always mentioned at certain conditions, at certain IF, then at certain di by dt, temperature, VRM. So if you want to get the TRR data for your application conditions, for your specific application conditions, you have to contact manufacturer, and then you can get this TRR or softness factor data, and you can calculate the average power dissipation. I hope until now it is clear. So now we will see one DC-DC converter example, buck regulator we will consider, and we will analyze the CCM mode and DCM mode, and we will see in which mode the diode reverse recovery loss will happen. Okay. and that is the answer to our question that we already wanted to discuss, right? So basically I will draw a buck regulator. So this is a high side switch, and this is a diode, then there is output inductor, there is output capacitor, input capacitor, and this is a ground. This is V in, this is VO, this is Q1 D, and this is C in. Okay, this is L. Now this is asynchronous buck converter, right? So we know so first of all we will see CCM mode, which is continuous conduction mode. So in continuous conduction mode, we know that how is the inductor current waveform. So it is basically a continuous current throughout the inductor. That is why it is called as continuous current. So, this is not clear, I guess. This is the time axis. This is IL. Okay, so this is the inductor current, right? So we will divide the time segments. Now here I will plot IQ1, which is the MOSFET current. So during this time Q1 is on. During this time Q1 is off. During this time again Q1 is on. This is Q1 off. Okay. When Q1 is on, current through it is a increasing, same as diode current. And when Q1 is off, there is no current. So again, it is increasing. Okay. So this is not up to the scale, but yeah, this is same as this one, but it is not up to scale. Then the diode current is, when Q1 is off, the inductor current flows through diode. So this is the inductor current. Okay. Maybe I will use different color for time segments. It might be confusing. So these are the time segments. Okay. Now we will also call this node, which is the formed by Q1 source and cathode of D, we will call it as a switching node. We will also plot the switching node voltages. Just extend the time segment. Okay, the VSW, how it looks. So when Q1 is on, so it is shorted. So Vin is shorted to this switching node. So this is the time axis. So VSW is Vin, and when Q1 is switched off, so earlier current was flowing in this direction. Now when Q1 is switched off, because of the energy stored in the inductor, this terminal of the inductor goes to negative, and this is a 0 volt, and because of that this diode is forward biased, and because of this forward bias it will be around 0.7 volt, right? So when Q1 is off, it will move to the 0.7, and again it will go V in, and then again 0.7. So this is a V in, this is around 0.7 volt, minus 0.7 volt, and this is V in. This is 0 volt, 0 ampere, 0 ampere, 0 ampere, these points. Now if you see a certain time instance, okay, maybe I will draw with the red color. So here, so this time instance. Now if you see at this time instant, diode was conducting, right? Diode is conducting here at this point because there is a certain current. This is a diode current. So diode was freewheeling. Suddenly Q1 is turned on. That means, so Q1 is turned on at this instant, right? So the VSW, the switching node voltage, switches to Vin voltage. So Vin comes to the cathode of this diode. So anode is grounded, cathode goes to the Vin. That means diode is reverse biased. So that is the condition, the two conditions that we discussed, right? First, diode must be conducting earlier, and suddenly it is reverse biased. So diode was conducting here, now suddenly reverse bias is applied, so reverse recovery loss phenomena will happen here. So this is the ideal graph, but in practice, so how it will look? So now diode was conducting, voltage is applied, suddenly reverse voltage, so a negative current will flow whenever diode is reverse biased. So this is a negative reverse current that will flow, because here if you see when Q1 is off, so current was in this direction, right? The inductor energy is freewheeling through the diode. Now it is in this direction. Now when Q1 is on, as we discussed earlier, the reverse current flows. So current direction was in this direction earlier. Now current goes in this direction. Okay, it flows from Cin input capacitor through Q1, then diode. This is the reverse current, and it is opposite to the forward current, which was earlier when diode was conducting, when it was on. When Q1 is on, the diode is reverse biased, current flows, reverse current flows from Vin to through Q1, then through diode, then back to the ground. Okay, so this is how current flow. So you will see here that this reverse current is flowing through this diode also and through this Q1 also, because this is the path. Okay, so if you see here, this is the reverse current through diode, right? And this current is also flowing through the Q1 also. So here we will see these peaks here also. Sorry, I will draw with different color here. So you will see these spikes here also when your MOSFET is turned on. So yeah, so not this diode reverse recovery current not only flows through the diode, but it also flows through the switch. So it affects your efficiency in a double way, right? So it happens in diode also, and you need to consider the power loss in power loss calculation for the switch also. So this is the CCM mode, right? So we just concluded that the two conditions that we discussed earlier, the diode must be conducting, and suddenly it should reverse voltage should be applied. So these two conditions are met here at when your Q1 is turned on, this time instance. So in CCM mode, yes, it happens. Yes, in CCM mode, reverse recovery loss happens. Now we will analyze a DCM mode of the operation. Okay, now I will erase this of this. So we will now analyze the DCM mode. So DCM is basically a discontinuous mode where the inductor current falls to 0. So I will again draw buck converter, high side switch, diode, output inductor, capacitor, input capacitor. This is V in, right? This is C in, D, U1, L, CO, VO. Okay, and this is the ground. Okay, now I will draw the waveforms again. Okay, so we know inductor current, how it looks. So inductor current reaches to 0, right? So this is the time axis, this is IL. So it starts from 0, goes to peak value, then again comes to 0, then waits for next PWM cycle, then again starts. Okay, so I will again divide into time segments. So I am just dividing the time segments for sake of understanding. Now here, during this time when inductor current is ramping, so during this time Q1 is on, right? So this current is flowing through Q1. Here Q1 is on. Here. Now when Q1 is off, so this is the current through diode. Sorry, not here. This is time axis. This is IQ1. This is ID. Okay. Now again, this is the switching node. Now if we see here, the switching node voltage. Okay. So when Q1 is on, so again Q1 is on, Vin is shorted to switching terminal. So this is Vin. Okay. Now when is Q1 is turned off and inductor energy freewheels through the diode. So it is minus 0.7 as we saw earlier. Okay. Now at this point, if you see inductor current, it is at this instant. Okay. At this instant, now inductor current is reached to 0. It means inductor does not have any energy for the freewheeling. So now this will go to 0, switching node. Okay, during this time, because it will not be able to forward bias the diode D, because the inductor stored energy in the inductor is finished. So that's why it cannot forward bias the diode D, and it will go to 0. It will remain until that's at that point, and then again when Q1 turns on, it goes to positive. Then again when Q1 is turned off, then it goes to minus 0.7. Then again it goes to 0 for remaining PWM cycle. So it repeats. Okay, so this is one PWM cycle. So this is one PWM cycle, which is the TSW. This is TSW. So after each TSW, which is the switching period, cycle repeats. Now if we see the same points what we discussed earlier, when Q1 is turned on every time. So at this point Q1 is turned on, right? This point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point. Now if we see Q1 is turned on at this point, right? But the diode current is 0. There is no any diode current. Now we have already seen two conditions for the reverse recovery loss phenomena. That diode must be conducting, it must have certain forward current, and it should be suddenly reverse biased. But now here there is no diode current, because the inductor current has already reached to 0, and for the rest of the PWM cycle it remains at 0. So that is the reason there is no forward current that is flowing through diode before turning it off, and there are no trapped charges inside diode. That's why even though the diode is reverse biased, but the current through the diode in the earlier stage, which was it was 0. That's why reverse recovery loss does not happen in DCM mode. So what we saw, the answer to the question what we discussed, whether the reverse recovery loss happens of the diode happens in CCM mode or DCM mode. So basically answer is in CCM it is yes, and in DCM no. Okay, so this is the answer to the question that we discussed. So here I will be uploading more videos on the electronics, basically from the power electronics point of view, and those will be theoretical plus practical. So those will be interesting for the learners or beginners. And if you want to watch it more, you can subscribe to my channel. So I'll be uploading videos frequently. So till then, if you have any queries related to this, you can post into comments. I will definitely, with 100%, I will definitely reply to those comments. And also during this pandemic time of COVID-19, stay fit, wear your mask, follow proper guidelines, and stay healthy, and just take precautions and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, we'll have more learning sessions together. Thank you.